One of the most intriguing futures for any Cedar Fair park would have to be Carowinds, which also happens to be my home park. And today, I'm going to share with you my predictions and speculation about what type of rides and roller coasters we could see coming to the park over the next few years. My name is Brandon, and welcome to my channel Keep Riding Coasters, formerly known as Theme Park Predictions. And Carowinds is one really interesting park because it offers one of the most top-heavy coaster lineups in the entire world, and the park does not offer any water rides, in the dry park that is, which is really crazy to think due to how hot it does get down here in North Carolina and South Carolina. And in 2019, the park decided to retire Rip-Roaring Rapids, and it's crazy to think that ever since then, Carowinds has not had a water ride that is a part of the dry park. Now, another very interesting thing about Carowinds is there's two major spots of land that is just basically nothing in the park right now that Carowinds could easily develop into their next themed area or roller coaster or brand new ride or attraction. The first one is the Dinosaurs Alive area, and this area really is very large, even though it's kind of a unique shaped area of the park. But the park could definitely put in something there very unique and very large. Now, another benefit of adding a major attraction in this area is that it's going to pull a lot of people away from like the Copperhead Strike area or the Fury area, because that seems like where most people gravitate to. And Afterburn, the park's B&M inverted coaster that opened up in 1999, really doesn't get as busy as it should because it's kind of tucked away from the rest of the park. So just imagine a brand new roller coaster in this area of the park over the next few years. But more on that in a minute, because Carowinds recently sent out a survey asking for opinions on a future water ride. And what was in the survey was a log flume, a retheme of the Rapids ride Rip-Roaring Rapids, and the Mock Power Splash. All three attractions that Carowinds desperately needs. And while 2024 was supposed to be the year for the park's water attraction coming, that unfortunately got pushed back, it seems, until 2025. And new for 2024 at Carowinds is going to be hopefully some park improvements and some repaint on certain areas of the park and a new restaurant or two. But as of right now, I do not see any type of new ride coming to Carowinds in 2024, and that's unfortunate. But though, we just got 5 new rides this year when they opened up Aeronautica Landing. So I'm really excited about that area and the future of that area. Carowinds did a fantastic job with the ride placement and all the different types of rides for that new area. So I think it's safe to say that 2025 is definitely going to be a water ride for Carowinds, and most likely going to be located where the old Rip-Roaring Rapids attraction once was, which is not a bad thing, because this area right here highlighted is by far the worst looking area of Carowinds. So I really hope that they decide to bulldoze this whole entire area and rebuild it. That includes an entrance plaza for this brand new ride and making it a little bit easier to see off the midway. And as for that new ride, with Six Flags Over Georgia building the new Intamin Ultra Surf coaster, I really find it kind of redundant if Carowinds decides to build a Mock Power Splash. Very similar coasters, but again, I mean, it really doesn't matter because parks do that all the time usually. So I would love to see a Mock Power Splash here, but now I'm thinking maybe they go back and decide to do a log flume instead. That way it's something different that Six Flags Over Georgia doesn't already offer. Which it kills me to say that because Copperhead Strike, which is Carowinds' last roller coaster added to the park, opened up in 2019. So Carowinds is definitely due. And it appears we're going to have to wait till 2026 maybe to get the first coaster since Copperhead that would not be a water coaster added to the park. And Carowinds could really benefit from capacity because again, this park is so top heavy. The major coasters that are worth riding are Fury, Afterburn, Copperhead Strike, and Intimidator. After that, you really don't need to ride anything else because it's all pretty bad. I mean, I guess you could say Nighthawk's up there, but if you want a headache, that is, go ride it. If you don't want a headache, don't ride it. Simple as that. But Carowinds' future really does intrigue me because I do not see them adding any new flat rides over the next 2 or 3 years. I see them focusing on a brand new water ride in 2025, and then in 2026, if we don't get the water coaster in 2025, I think it's going to be our new coaster year. And we really could benefit again from a major roller coaster that offers capacity as well as a nice riding experience. And as for what type of coaster, well, you're going to find out about that real quickly here. But first, if you're looking for some really cool coaster merch, be sure to check out my Keep Riding Coasters gear store, where you can find some really cool coaster merch designed by myself. I really do appreciate all the support, and you can find a link for that in the description of this video. Now, let's talk about the future coaster for Carowinds, because if the water ride does end up going where Rip Roaring Rapids is located currently, then I think all eyes point to the Dinosaurs Alive area of the park for the next coaster. And while some of you are probably thinking that they're going to RMC Hurler before they build a ground-up coaster in the Dinosaurs Alive area, I'm sorry to break your heart, but it's not going to happen. And this video here shares exactly why that is. It's true. There's no talk around Carowinds of RMC and Hurler. It's not going to happen. Again, watch that video to explain more about why it's not going to happen, but that's okay, because in 2026, I predict that Carowinds could be building their next major coaster. And when you examine Carowinds' lineup, you instantly notice a few holes in the coaster lineup. A good wooden coaster, a vertical drop coaster, a wing coaster, as well as a coaster from RMC. So what type of coaster makes the most sense for Carowinds? Now, while I would really love to see a massive GCI wooden coaster on this plot of land, I just don't know if Cedar Fair wants to invest in a wooden coaster for Carowinds, since we still have Hurler. Now again, I could be wrong on that, and I really hope I am, because a ride like Mystic Timbers, but a little bit larger, would do great for Carowinds and this area. As you might not know, but this Dinosaurs Alive area features kind of a rugged terrain, where it kind of slants down and is a little hilly in a way. So I think there's a lot of cool things that a wooden coaster could play off of the terrain on this area of the park, and a ride like this would give Carowinds another coaster that does not feature inversions and offers a 48-inch height requirement, which is a huge win for the park. And if it's not a wooden coaster, then I could see this coming from B&M. As much as I don't care for B&M dive coasters, having one that is 200 feet tall or more in the Dinosaurs Alive area of the park would look epic on the Carowinds skyline and provide great views from the top. This type of ride would honestly bring in more people than the wooden coaster option would, and that is why I feel like a dive coaster from B&M is most likely the most logical prediction for Carowinds, if you will. It's not what I want, but I think knowing how Cedar Fair works, and with Iron Menace opening up at Dorney Park in 2024, as well as Yukon Striker opening up at Canada's Wonderland in 2019, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that Carowinds is in the running for the world's tallest, longest, and fastest dive coaster sometime in 2026 or maybe 2027. And while I've yet to ride Yukon Striker, and I definitely need to get up there to ride it hopefully soon, a dive coaster offering more than just one or two inversions sounds great, as well as other unique elements. So I really am all for this type of ride. Again, the GP would absolutely eat this type of ride up, and it would probably bring crowds away from Fury and Copperhead, which is always a good thing. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts about Carowinds' future as we stand right now. With all that being said, what are your thoughts on Carowinds' future? Please share with me your predictions over the next 2 or 3 years for the park. I would love to read them. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.